So it is World Breastfeeding Week. It is a recognised celebration of breastfeeding, the importance, the value, and I guess the essential nature of breastfeeding. The WHO essentially identifies this as a very, very important week. To start with, we wanted to identify some of the main changes that happen from a nutrition standpoint when you start breastfeeding. So anyone that's ever noticed or has breastfed a child, it is certainly a new thing and comes with it new changes and adaptations to your diet that maybe you felt, maybe you haven't experienced yet. So starting with number one, energy. To go from pre-conception to holding your baby to having it and feeding on you, essentially you need a hell of a lot more energy. Anywhere around the 2,000 to 4,000 extra kilojoules depending on your needs per day. That is a lot more than what you were when you were pregnant. So energy is really important. Next is water, fluid. The amount of water and energy it takes to produce an adequate supply of milk every single day to your child is substantial. So I would be saying on top of your basic 2 liters a day around about, you need another 2 liters on top of that. It dries you the hell out. I can attest to that, and I certainly drank a lot more when I was breastfeeding than what I normally do on my day-to-day. At number 3, there are key nutrients, iron, calcium of importance, and also protein. What goes into breast milk though is really energy. So if you are meeting enough of your energy requirements and you're not losing weight at any rapid rate outside of just normal weight loss after giving birth, then you should have enough nutrients to meet that. You really will be having more of all things across the board when you're breastfeeding, but you do specifically need enough protein to deliver that. So if you're a vegan, or if you don't have a lot of meat, or if you're still feeling a little bit sick or for whatever reason just not tolerating it, then definitely I'll focus on making sure you're meeting enough protein over the day. So each meal, most snacks. Outside of that, iron. Your baby needs a lot of iron for brain development, and whether that's coming from you, it 100% is. So what happens during pregnancy and also during breastfeeding is that all of your stores get depleted, and iron is one of the most important for brain development for your baby, and you do not want an iron deficient kid. So you may need to supplement, you may need to look for iron fortified cereals or other products, you may need to eat meat. If you will do so, then I would encourage that you make sure that that one is at least on the high side. Finally, if there is anything deplete in your previous diet from conception and pregnancy, then maybe looking to address any of those. You may need to get some blood tests to identify any deficiencies, but essentially they're the 3 key ones: iron, protein / energy in general, and your water intake is so important. Okay, breastfeeding is a very heartfelt, emotional topic for many people. You are either in a position where you can breastfeed, or you're in a position when you cannot. I am going to talk to the position about why we should if we can. If you can't, then obviously there's other alternatives. But why we breastfeed and why it's something that we should advocate and support and fully endorse for most people. Again, talking from a place of experience, but not talking from a place of judgment. Breastfeeding is so easy. Once you get through the hard stuff, which is probably not going to get easy until 6 to 8 months, 6 to 8 weeks deep. It's really painful to start with. It can be a lot of work, and it can draw a lot of your own energy out. But it is so easy once you get over that lump, because you don't have to have sterilized bottles. You don't have to be thinking about breastfeeding. You can literally just put it on there. It's a constant source of nutrition that you don't need to have to worry about when you've got this new baby to also worry about. It also is probably one of the most important things from a gut health perspective and an immunity point of view for your newborn. Your diet and your breast milk are one of the first things that influence your baby's gut microbiome, and there's a lot of solid research looking at the colonization of a sterile baby's gut based on not only vaginal birthing but also nutrition. And there's value beyond what we know to potentially knowing more as we learn a little bit more about the biome, but how important that is in establishing a good, healthy microbiome for your baby. The other aspect to that as well is it has a lot of immune globulins, which are unique to you, that filter through the breast milk into the baby. So it can be quite immunoprotective for children to prevent diseases and also help them recover from any sickness more so than others. The other unique thing about breast milk is it responds to what the baby needs. So if that baby is really thirsty because it's super hot in your environment, then they'll probably drink a lot more and they'll get a lot more fluid and water through the breast milk than what they will in an environment where they don't need as much to drink. And the composition of breast milk will change not only during a feed but also for the needs of that baby. So it's an innate feedback mechanism. They want more, they get more, the breast produces a lot more, and if they need less, then the breast will also produce less. There's also different compositions in foremilk, middle milk, and then hind milk, which allows for the different aspects that the baby needs, whether it's just a little bit of water or they need a lot of more extra fat and protein. The feed will go for a lot longer. So therefore it is really hard to mimic that in a formula form. And so therefore it's one of those things which is just a little bit more specific and tailored to that individual bub. If you are unable to breastfeed, it certainly is not that you cannot provide all those important nourishment aspects to what breast provides for your baby, but there are a lot of things that you can do to improve some of those things. So obviously your diet still makes a difference for your bub, and providing a lot of solid connection, and when you're feeding, making sure there is that nice connection, which can also help with those hormones and also just the transfer of gut bugs, because you still transfer from skin to skin. Outside of that, the other nourishing factors around health and wellness is just making sure that you are exposing your bub to, within reason, dirty environments and lots of different gut biome areas, like being outside and playing in the grass, which certainly can help again for that transfer. From a nutrition point, you may find that your baby just needs to drink less when they're on a bottle compared to on a breast, just because there's more kilojoules in a bottle feed than there is in your breast milk, because it is continually changing, obviously. So you may find that your baby needs a little bit less compared to breastfeeding, which can sometimes be a bit scary as well too. But hopefully that gives you an understanding of why breast is best if you can, but also that there are alternatives if you can't. All right, allergens. Allergens are key. They're important for exposure within an appropriate environment that is not hyperallergenic. You wouldn't want to expose them with that. But allergens can be exposed through breast milk. We can sometimes prime the baby's diet. So wheat, dairy, eggs, soy, nuts, those types of things coming through the breast milk can sometimes be really good to expose them in that way first before they get any oral exposure. And that helps with tolerance moving forward. Other key snacks would be high energy, high protein, nutritious. So things like nut butters, yogurts, even milk drinks like smoothies, they are all really important, and I would probably at least be eating one of those snacks over the course of the day. And then finally, I would definitely be putting meat somewhere over the course of the day. So whether it be chicken or tuna or eggs, or leftover meat from the night before, just to make sure that you're getting adequate protein in the middle part of the day. Most mums don't have that time to really facilitate that, so leftovers can be a really, really good meal or a snack, even if you're looking for an appropriate snack to meet your baby's needs.